Congressman, great to see you. What Kevin Warsh is saying, and he has actually been saying this for more than a decade, he wants to basically stop printing money, reduce the size of the balance sheet, but that means rather than blowing out the balance sheet, cut it and then cut interest rates. That allows them to lower interest rates, which is the it reverses the enrichment of the rich is what the Fed has been doing. But this would also force Congress to stop spending money. Can Congress do that?
Well, we did it in the big, beautiful bill to the tune of $1.5 trillion. It's a start. It's more than stopping digging the hole. We have to rinse and repeat, because we're going to add another $20 trillion over the next 10 years to a debt of $38 trillion and an indebtedness that's greater than when we were in a world war. And listen, Kevin Warsh understands that. And he understands that the Federal Reserve's activism with all these long-term asset purchases and a bloated balance sheet has been complicit in this unbridled spending and this death spiral that we're on from an economic and fiscal perspective. But he also understands that we are in this supply growth surge, and we don't need to also artificially hold back demand with this contractionary Fed fund rate policy. So I think he's got a good balanced view of it. He's concerned about the debt. He believes in the good fundamentals that are in place, and he believes truly in market principles and free people and free markets operating most efficiently, not central planning.
He's going to try to change the very culture that has defined the Federal Reserve, at least for 10 years, through from Janet Yellen on through Powell. He's going to try to get them to change a lot of the regulatory things that they have. The very notion that he wants the Fed to abandon the dogma that inflation is caused when the economy grows too much. He said that specifically. He's going to need the support of folks on the Hill. He can't do it alone. He's going to have to fire a lot of those 300 economists who've been dealing with these false notions about what makes an economy churn out inflation. And it's not growth that does that. It's printing too much money. Is he going to get the backing from people like you in Congress that he's going to need?
I believe he will, because I think most members of Congress, even though they have avoided the hard decisions, as we discussed, on fiscal policy, namely reining in unbridled deficit spending, they understand that that's in our wheelhouse and that we can't lean on the Federal Reserve to bail us out with their interventionist policies. That's not their role. Their role is the dual mandate. I think, again, Kevin Warsh will restore the integrity of focusing on that dual mandate role and put the pressure where it ought to be, where the will of the people is reflected in the United States Congress, to start righting the ship and getting our fiscal house in order.
To be clear, what I was saying earlier, he believes that blowing out the balance sheet, printing all of this money, it went up to $9 trillion. It enriched the rich. He called it reverse Robin Hood, and he wants to reverse that. Incredible thing. Lower interest rates, it makes credit cheaper for working people. So we want to get to this. The president himself earlier wrote an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal, crowing about his tariffs. Here's some of what he had to say. Countless so-called experts, including those featured frequently in the Wall Street Journal, predicted confidently that the Trump tariffs would crash stock markets, crush economic growth, cause massive inflation, destroy American exports, and trigger a worldwide recession. 9 months later, the results are in. Every one of those predictions has proven completely and totally wrong. And the trade deficit shrank as well. Win, 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 win. Is it a message to the Supreme Court? Potentially.
Well, I think the message is, if passed as prologue, we're going to see tremendous growth on top of what we're already seeing with the 4.5% GDP. Wages are up, prices are coming down. but we haven't even seen the best of it because we're going to get more velocity as these 15 deals and frameworks are settled into. We saw a 25% increase in trade activity. We saw the highest wage growth in 25 years in the first Trump administration. So I see exponential economic growth velocity in this new year leading up to November because it wasn't inflationary. In fact, not only did the trade deficit go down, but we had the highest export activity in history to date.
Mm-hmm. Congressman, very quick answer for this one. Will he pass through the Senate?
He will, on his own merits.
Okay. Congressman Jody Arrington, good stuff. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good to be with you all.